Say, man, you see my crab cakes? Till I'm all alone. If you see my crab cakes, tell her things went wrong. Don't call on the phone and bring a black draw home. A little tartar too. Come on, little girl, tell me what you wanna do. Them Maryland crab cakes are the best in town. Them Maryland crab cakes are the best in town. So come on, baby, let's get Louisiana down. If you see my crab cake, have you seen my crab cake? If you see my crab cake, till I'm all alone, till I still love her, and when she come back home.
It's now time for Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It began as a podcast, went live on the net, and transformed into a full-blown empire. Across the web, on Fight Now TV, and on radio stations around the world. It's the only daily boxing talk radio show on the planet, hosted by the only guy with the balls to do it. Many have stepped into the ring. Many have tried to take the belt, and one by one, they've fallen. Another victim of the undisputed heavyweight champion of boxing talk radio. Talkin' Boxing with Billy C is on now.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart.
And we're coming to you live from the Billy C Studios in Lake Georgia and New York. I'm Bill Calagione. It's time for Talking Boxing with Billy C. Good morning, good day, good evening. Whenever you're listening, hope you're doing all right. Hope you had a nice holiday weekend. We didn't have the day off. We was here yesterday. Where was you? First and foremost, the show's being brought to you in part by Cat's Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service. If you're looking for a limo, and you're located someplace in the U.S. of A., then you need to give my girl, Cat a call. 202-351-7496. That's 202-351-7496. Cat's Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service is the official limo service of this year's Billy C. Boxing Hall of Fame induction weekend, which is scheduled for November 16th, 17th, and 18th in South Glens Falls. You best make your plans now. That's all I'm going to say. Make your plans now. Visit the website, www.billycboxing.com. Click one of the Billy C. Boxing Hall of Fame banners and get the latest information on the event. Cat's Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service is the only limo service you should be considering. Give her a call, 202-351-7496, 202-351-7496. But just remember, she's my girl. The show is also being brought to you in part by Campanaro and Tomkovich. If you're looking for a lawyer, whether it's for contract law, maybe a will, maybe some settlement, I don't know, man, whether you got yourself into some trouble, maybe it's a matrimonial issue, whatever your legal needs are, let Campanaro and Tomkovich knock out your legal problem. 845-221-4099. Campanaro and Tomkovich keeps my ass out of trouble. Let them keep yours out, too. 845-221-4099. Make sure you tell them Billy C sent you. And that I'm going to pick up the consultation fee. That's right. 845-221-4099. And, of course, my friends over at the Halftime Bar and Grill, Route 9, South Glens Falls. Check them out. The outdoor section of the facility is open. So check that out. Beer specials or other drink specials all the time. Food specials all the time. Great people to hang out with. That's the place to go. Route 9, South Glens Falls. Give them a shout. I got to start off the show with some, before we get into the mail. But first and foremost, Tony Treem, he's stealing all my lines. All I could say, Tony, is grow yourself a nice mustache, and then we'll talk, all right? Grow yourself a nice mustache. But anyway, on a very serious note, it was reported yesterday that Paul Williams was involved in a serious motorcycle accident, which has apparently left him paralyzed from the waist down. I don't know what else to say. This is a huge blow to the sport of boxing and to all sports and to just humanity. Paul Williams, I mean, listen, we get critical on this show about fighters, and I myself have said, that guy is a bum, right? Never about Paul Williams, but Paul Williams is overrated. Or you say this fighter's a tomato can or whatever. Let's just make sure everybody understands one thing. Put it in perspective. It's not meant as, something personal. It's just because of the fact that, our sports heroes today are on such a higher plane than we are, really. And, we have a tendency to, it's the same thing in football or baseball. Oh, that guy sucks, But hey, to make it to the NFL or to make it to the major leagues in any sport is huge. It's like the best player you could ever imagine playing up against. And, when you look at a guy like Paul Williams and all of his accomplishments, and, whether you liked him or not, here's a man, a kid, that was totally still in the middle of his career, and to have it be cut short like this is terrible. And I just hope that everyone out there, just for being a boxing fan, whether you were a fan of Paul's or not, I hope your thoughts and prayers and all your best wishes go to Paul Williams for a speedy recovery. One thing I gotta say about Paul is that he is very optimistic. According to several reports, he's not only saying that he's going to be able to walk again. He says he's going to fight again. And his management and people close to him have said he's in denial. All of the doctors that he's gone to see said he will never walk again. As a matter of fact, he's undergoing some surgery to make sure that his upper torso is stabilized and everything else. So, you know what? If you haven't said any prayers lately, do yourself a favor and do Paul Williams a favor. Say one about him. This is a warrior, and if he hasn't proved it to you in the ring, he certainly better be proving it to you now. Paul Williams, paralyzed after a motorcycle crash, and I'll tell you what, my prayers and everyone in my family is certainly thinking of Paul Williams. It's hard to do a show after you have, in the last 2 days, we talk about Johnny Tapia and the Kiawisik, the fighter from Thailand. It's a shame. It's a shame, but we need to move on for their benefit, and it's hard to kick off a show like that too. But I will say this: yesterday was Memorial Day. Yesterday here in the United States, we honor all of the of our military personnel who have fought in the wars or joined the military to be ready to fight in a war to protect our country and protect our freedom. And I gave a special shout out to one of our listeners, USS Curtis. Now, I messed up his last name. It's Curtis Wilbur. Well, not his last name, but the way his handle goes. It's USS Curtis Wilbur. I want to give a special shout out to my man Curtis. He listens to the show, and he's also a wounded vet. So that's what Memorial Day is for, to honor guys like USS Curtis Wilbur. So don't forget about our premium podcasts. If you want to listen to the show whenever you want, whether you're driving to work or whether you're working out or whatever, that's what the premium podcast is for. I've gotten several emails from people saying, I was thinking about joining a podcast, but, I can get the show on your site. I can get the show on YouTube. I could watch it live. I mean, honestly, what do I need it for? And basically, the truth of the matter is you don't, unless you want the convenience of listening or viewing the show whenever you want, on your way to work. Like I said, maybe on the bike or on the treadmill or whatever, or picking your kids up from after school activities or whatever. And the other added benefit for only $15 a year is the fact that you get access to all of the material that we've done. So, and you're not going to get that anywhere else. So, that's the reason why. And speaking of one last thing before I take a quick break and then break out the emails, is that we have a poll question on right now. We're just curious here to know, where do you think that, I know, the studio here in Lake George, New York, is, fairly new. We just built the thing. And, we're very comfortable here. But you know what? There's been several other places that we're considering broadcasting live out of. And we're asking you, the top places that have been offered to us so far. And the way the question sits right now, 30% of you say we should stay right where we are in Lake George. 20% say we should move on down to New York City. 30% say we should go to Las Vegas, Nevada. 20% say Albuquerque, New Mexico. And the other two choices is South Florida and Chicago. Both no one getting any votes. So do yourself a favor. If you get a chance, visit the website, www.billycboxing.com, and cast your vote. What do you think, man? Help us out. All right, listen, I'm going to take a break. When I come back, we got some emails filled. Wait. We got the mailbag filled with emails. Yeah.
If you're in upstate New York and you need a trucking company, then you need Rosselli Enterprises. Rosselli Enterprises is trucking at its finest. They have it all. Dump trucks, dump trailers, walk-in floors, flatbeds, flowboys, tankers, loaders, and a full line of roll-off containers for any job, big or small. Rosselli Enterprises is also the source for all your sand, gravel, and topsoil needs. Visit them on the web at RosselliTrucking.com or call 315-433-5115. That's 315-433-5115 and tell them Billy C sent you.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
We've got a great matchup tonight. Fighting out of the left corner is the #1 ranked contender.
No, he is not.
I'm sorry, but who are you?
I am the ideal computer. I am programmed to provide only fair and unbiased boxing rankings. This fighter is the number 15 ranked contender.
Fair and unbiased boxing rankings? That's a new concept.
Actually, it is not. The IBO has provided unbiased computerized rankings for many years.
Well, we've still got a great fight tonight, folks. In the left corner is the number 15 ranked contender.
The IBO, the champion of integrity. Learn more at iboboxing.com.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
As a young boy, all Billy C dreamed about was one day having his own catchphrase.
And we're back. And we're back.
One boy one dream, one day, everyone will say.
And we're back. 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 And we're back.
Catchphrase coming soon to a theater near you.
And we're back. You are listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C radio show. Check out the website, www.billycboxing.com. Cast your vote. Where do you think we should be broadcasting live from on a daily basis? What do you think, man? There's a bunch of great choices, and they all have some reasons behind them. So check them out. The other day I was, all this sad stuff. I had to attend some services for a family member the other day, and I had to drive, like 4 hours or whatever each way, and I feel like that Flomax commercial. I mean, is that what gets? I guess that's what all you young whippersnappers get to look forward to. I'm 50. And I know anybody that's around my age or older, men specifically, that Flomax commercial is like the truth, man. It's like, there's another rest area. I better pull over. It's like, and all of a sudden you see the sign, next rest area, 56 miles. You're like, first mailbag entry, USS Curtis Wilbur. We were just mentioning him. His dream came true. We did a complete show yesterday without mentioning you-know-who. FMJ. Hey, glad we could be of service, USS. O'Neill Seal. O'Neill. Let's just say O'Neill. That's right. He told me, I think, to just call him O'Neill. He says, I heard what happened to Paul Williams in his accident. I hope he walks again. We all do, brother. We all do. Well, but the sad news is that the doctors feel that he's never going to walk again. But let's think positive, like my man O'Neill, because positive thinking, it works, man. It works. So, Bigger Buck, he says, I said I agree that Calzaghe is overrated. Sergio and Pryor are the same. That they are not offensive, exciting fighters with defensive flaws who sometimes get floored by lesser opposition and fought a lot of cans in the beginning of their careers and got respect at the end and never in boring fights. Okay. That's the problem sometimes with emails. People don't understand or they interpret something wrong. Not that it has the same content, but it's like the Bible. You read the Bible, you read one line, and I read another, and we both get two different things out of it. I know it's a totally different situation, but I agree with Bigger Back. I did take him wrong, apparently, but I do agree with him. Calzaghe was overrated, but we got to give Calzaghe credit for winning as many times as he did and holding the title for as long as he did. I mean, just like, it's been said in the past, I don't care if you're fighting, Greg Haugen said, I don't care if I fought my sister 50 times in a row, she's going to win at least 2 of them, so, you got to give him credit for that. He retired, he walked away with an O, and that's extremely hard to do in this sport. And as far as Sergio Martinez and Aaron Pryor, the Hawk, I agree with that 100%. And that's what I was getting at when I whipped it. I just thought that he meant that he was comparing Sergio to Aaron Hawk, and I do agree that they both kind of had an easy time of it in the beginning, but really cemented their legacies. And the sad thing about the good thing about Pryor is that he was involved in an era where, we were all very into the sport. The bad thing about Martinez, he's not. And he's involved with a situation that I personally don't feel that he gets the promotion that he should. So, but that's my thoughts. Biggerback also says, anyway, overrated Butte. Never fought that way because nobody fought him that way. That's how you fight a southpaw, and Frotz is the only one who fought the right way. B-Hop fought equal or better opposition than Frotz, Johnson, Pavlik, Taylor, Dawson, Pascal, Trinidad, Tarver, Wright. Listen, don't tell me about B-Hop. B-Hop is the most boring fighter ever. You know, he had a couple of exciting fights in his twilight years, which he's still living through. But don't mention B-Hop. You know, my thing about Bernard Hopkins is that he's a Hall of Famer because of his longevity and his defense. That's it. You want to mention Johnson, Glenn Johnson? Yeah, that was a great fighter. So's so's Dawson, so's Trinidad. You know, all those. You know, it's funny. I don't remember. For some reason, I don't remember Tarver fighting Bernard Hopkins, but I'm sure he did. If Biggerback's saying that, but come on. I mean, Butte. You know what? Butte, I said he was out. My line on the Butte Carl Froch fight is that Lucien Butte tried to out Froch Carl Froch. And what I meant by that was he was fighting with his hands down. He was trying to pick his shots. And he was trying to, he had this mindset that he had the power to knock out Froch with one punch. Because that's all he was throwing, was one punch at a time. And, initially I thought that, when I first watched that fight, I watched it late on Saturday night when I got back from a service I had to attend, and I only got to see it one round at a time, which was the way it was had been uploaded. Now yesterday I got a chance to watch it again with a much better copy, and it was sequential. One round after another. And, although I thought that the fight was, yesterday I said that I thought the fight was kind of even going into that last round, I need to amend that statement. I need to retract that statement. I think that Butte won one round, okay? One. He did not win the third. He did not win the third. I have to admit with the general consensus that Carl Froch destroyed Lucien Butte. There's no question about it. Listen, I think another issue is that, and I didn't really think it was going to be an issue, but it obviously was, and that is the crowd. The crowd made a huge difference for Butte. And, some writers were saying that in the past. Leading up to the fight, some writers were writing, how's he going to fare with the crowd? It was the first time he'll be in a hostile environment. I laughed, man, because I'm saying to myself, come on, man, a professional athlete, just like in football or baseball or hockey or basketball, you go into your town, you go into your opponent's hometown or whatever, and of course you're ready for that negativity and the fans cheering and everything else. But, I guess the first time you do it, and I guess if you've been, anointed, a top fighter, I mean, geez, we had him in our pound-for-pound rankings. He's no longer there. And speaking of our rankings, you can check them out. They've been updated. They're up on BillyCBoxing.com. But, I think that a bad game plan, weak opposition, and going into hostile territory, all three of those things was the reason that Lucien Butte was blown out by Carl Froch. And, I just think that Carl Froch needs to get more credit. I mean, yes, the English fans, they have him on the pedestal right now, but there are several people out there that are not giving him the credit that he deserves, man. And there's many people out there that keep saying, well, it just goes to show you how great Andre Ward is. No, it doesn't show me that. Because what Carl Froch showed me, and dare I mention FMJ, but what Carl Froch showed me is heart. And would I say that not in the fight because he was stunned or anything like that against Butte, but Carl Froch showed me that this is a complete, well-rounded fighter. He's gotten bad decisions. He's went into hometowns. He's lost his title. and all of those things. Other fighters might have thrown them out of the game. Other fighters may have put them into a depression, or how many times do you see a fighter, be dominating for X amount of time, then all of a sudden they go to that proverbial opponent level, that opponent role, I should say. Jeff Left Hook Lacey comes to mind real quick. Roy Jones Jr. is there right now. Carl Froch refused to let that happen. To me, that's a display of heart. And a guy like Carl Froch that has a loss or two is a guy that comes back and has a performance like this, arguably one of the best performances of his career. I think it was one of the best performances of his career, aside from his win over Jean Pascal, and, of course, the comeback win against Jermaine Taylor. So, I give Carl Froch all the credit in the world. A lot of people have been busting my you-know-whats because I had predicted Lucien Boutte. I also felt that Lucien Boutte was better than Carl Froch. I thought Lucien Boutte was better than Andre Ward. All of those opinions, I was wrong. Hey, that's what makes this sport so great. When you're looking at team sports, a team loses a game, you can point the finger at many other people, and then the team comes back and they win the next game, and all is forgotten, In boxing, it's different, and the bottom line is I'm not giving up on Lucien Boutte in terms of a quality fighter. Do I think he's a quality fighter? Yes. Do I think he's still in tops in the super middleweight division? Certainly. We flip-flopped them. We couldn't put Carl Froch at number 1 because Andre Ward is at number 1. So we had Lucien Boutte at number 2. Carl Froch goes into number 2, but Carl Froch was at number 3. And if you look at our rankings, and you can check it out on the website, BillyCBoxing.com, how do we put Lucien Boutte, after losing to Carl Froch, any lower than number 3? Look at the rest of the guys in there and tell me if you think that he should be lower than where he's at. So, do I still like Lucien Boutte? Yes. Do I think that he's going to come back? Yeah. Do I want to see the rematch? I most definitely want to see the rematch, because I think the rematch is going to really set the record straight. One of two things. Number one, it's going to show us that Lucien Boutte can fight if he beats Froch. And number two, if Carl Froch wins again, it's going to show us that Carl Froch is an elite fighter and Boutte is not. It's that simple. And, I got a couple of emails yesterday that they wanted me to keep it between us. But one of them had to do with a third possible fight, assuming Boutte wins the second fight. And they said, why would they fight 3 fights? Who's interested in that? Well, the truth of the matter is if Boutte wins against Carl Froch, when and if they have that rematch that they're supposed to have, of course you're going to want to see a third fight. I know I will. And, the bottom line is I just think that both fighters are in a position to make the most money that they possibly can if a second fight is good. If it's a first round, if it's a blowout like it was the other night, then of course you don't want to see a third fight. And if that happens again, if Carl Froch goes into Montreal and destroys Boutte, I don't think we could say anything in defense of Boutte. Except that he's just not an upper echelon fighter.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
Broadcasting in all corners of the globe, on the web and radio.
He would scoff at a stretcher, that man, I would
You're listening to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. from upstate New York in the good old US of A.
Boxing is here to stay because we are here to stay.
The best 2 hours of boxing talk on the airwaves.
Hey, fight fans, check out KOFantasyBoxing.com. KO Fantasy Boxing is boxing's only trademarked fantasy game. Check it out, www.kofantasyboxing.com. Select your own gym, your own fighters, track them through a season that can last from 3 months to a year, depending upon which league you join. You got to check this out, man. www.kofantasyboxing.com. Join it today. Again, www.kofantasyboxing.com, and tell them Billy C sent ya.
Now back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C., the only radio host man enough to take a punch from Mike Tyson.
Wait a minute, man. Hold on there. Jeremy, man, I need you to take this one, all right?
Wait, what? No way. I can't do this.
Need I remind you I'm Billy C., damn it? Now put on that mustache and get in there.
Hey, look at me. I'm Billy C. Crap.
The undisputed heavyweight champion of Boxing Talk Radio. It's Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2. My fellow Americans, good evening. Welcome back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It's great to be here discussing the sweet science with everybody. I love boxing. I love talking boxing. It's what I do.
Bill.
Wait, what?
Bill.
Why are you interrupting me? Wait, what?
Wrong.
What's the problem?
Billy C.
I did not have...
We're gonna have to ask you.
Wrong speech. What do you mean wrong, Billy C? What's going on here? Fine, I'll go. I just wanted to talk some boxing on TPSradio.net. That's all I wanted to do. I don't need your damn show. I'll get my own talking wrestling with the other Billy C. Yeah, that sounds good. I've always been a Hulkamaniac anyway.
Broadcasting live, brother. Welcome back to Talking Boxing with Billy C. on the mighty TPSradio.net, brother. What you gonna do, brother?
And we're back. You are listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. I want to welcome the Fight Now audience just joining us like they do every day, Monday through Friday from 6 to 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And if you want to watch the Talking Boxing with Billy C show on your television set, well, then you need to call your local TV provider, whether it's satellite dish or cable, and tell them that you want to add the Fight Now channel to your sports channel lineup. It's that simple. Pick up the phone and call them. For all the information about the channel, you can find it at their website, www.fightnow.com. And speaking of now, we're going through a couple of emails, and we'll wrap that up here in a second. I got one from Bjorn Henriquez, and Bjorn says, no one talks about it, but I can't be the only one who thinks that Juan juiced in his last fight with Manny. That's Juan Manuel Marquez. He says, first of all, he hired Angel Heredia, who admitted to giving Marion Jones steroids and testified against Victor Conti in the Balco case. How are these guys able to still work in the sports? And isn't it a red flag when Peterson uses Conti or Juan Manuel Marquez uses Angel, etc.? These are just the guys we know about. And he's not just saying this in a negative way, because he backed it up with an article that appeared in the newspaper, in I believe it was the Daily News, which was dated November 2nd, 2011, which was just prior to the Pacquiao Juan Manuel Marquez fight, and it was short. It was a short little article, and he says, the author says, here's the good news for Juan Manuel Marquez, who will be facing Manny Pacquiao in Las Vegas on November 12th. This was 10 days from the time he published this. He says his new conditioning coach is Angel Hernandez, and Angel Hernandez isn't advocating that Marquez drink his own urine as a nutritional supplement, which Marquez did before he fought Floyd Mayweather. But here's the bad news for Juan Manuel Marquez. His new conditioning coach, Angel Hernandez, has been identified as Angel and I'm pronouncing this wrong probably, but Heredia, the man who supplied steroids to track stars Marion Jones and Timmy Montgomery later became the key government witness in the case against Balco that landed the company's founder, Victor Conti, behind bars and implicated dozens of athletes as users of performance-enhancing drugs. Hernandez was hiding in plain sight, although he had changed his last name while working with Marquez at his training camp in Mexico. Conti recognized Hernandez on a recent episode of HBO's boxing reality show 24/7. I was shocked, and you guys do know that Victor Conti also works with Nonito Donaire, right? So I agree with Bjorn. The thing is this: if we're gonna have athletes, and if we're gonna say that it's illegal to have performance-enhancing drugs, then yes, I hate to say this, but I agree with a guy like Floyd Mayweather, who is insisting upon the best way he knows how to ensure that the playing field is equal, and that nobody, either participant, steps into that ring with an advantage other than physical attributes. If they're taking something, and you got to agree with that. It's like somebody cheating, doing whatever. So if we don't want athletes to have performance-enhancing drugs, then that's it. However, if people do feel that they need performance-enhancing drugs, well then, hey, make it legal for everybody to use. The bottom line is it's either or. You can't say it's illegal and then have some one-sided, the red corner, let's say, using it and the blue corner not. That's not even. That's like saying, okay, the red corner's got to weigh in the day of the fight and the blue corner can weigh in the day before. It's the same unlevel playing field. And I agree with all the people that want to enforce it. But we have to decide whether we're going to enforce it or not. A lot of these commissions are allowing certain supplements that may be what's testing positive. There's a whole nother thing that's going on about that. And the fact is that I don't believe that they have a true definition of what's legal and what's not. But here's the problem. They have a list of illegals, but because of the nature of steroids and the nature of the, synthetic, they can make it up. They can whip up another version of the same thing. Makes it very hard to police. Now, here's one other facet that we need to evaluate, and that is the anti-doping agency, the one that everyone's using for the Olympic testing, for the Olympic-style testing. Maybe some of these fighters that are adamant about, insisting that they haven't put anything in their system, and they end up turning and testing positive, I should say, a la Lamont Udome Peterson and Andre Berto. Could it be that these guys feel that they didn't put anything into their system because from what they thought they were just taking vitamins or nutrient supplements that they bought over the counter? I think in order for this system to work, and I agree with having everyone clean, for the system to truly work, I think all the parties have to start to communicate a little better, and have a list of do's and don'ts. And as far as Bjorn's email here, it's like hiring the fox to watch the hen house, right? I mean, here's a convicted guy, that was convicted of illegal steroid, supplying and administering and all that stuff. Here's a convicted guy who did time. You're going to hire him. If I'm going to hire him, I'll be honest. Hey, I call a spade a spade. I'm going to be honest. If I hire him, it's because I'm thinking that this guy is going to be able to help me and also get away with the test. That's why I'm going to hire him. I'm going to say to myself, who does the government, our government here, they hire the hackers that hack into their system, right? If a hacker can hack into their security system, what's the first thing they do? Throw him in jail? No, they hire him because he just, he's a genius. Well, isn't it the same thing? I mean, don't we look at the same thing? You say to yourself, okay, let's hire the mad scientist who can whip up a steroid and make me punch, harder and last longer and go faster and all this stuff. But also the guy that did the time and knows, the other side of that coin is, all the jails are filled with the experts, right? How expert are they when they get busted and they're sitting in the slammer, So very tough situation for all of us, the PEDs, man. It really is. I just want to go one way or another, and we all saw what performance-enhancing drugs do to a legacy. I mean, Mark McGuire, Bonds, Barry Bonds was the father, right? But Bonds, the kid, it's just it's terrible. It's terrible. I mean, these guys are never going to get the recognition they deserve, and maybe they don't deserve it. You know what I mean? Maybe they don't. But no, Barry Bonds is the son, and Bobby Bonds was the father. So, Master Blaster says, I thoroughly enjoyed Carl's victory. I won't say I saw it coming, but I just had a feeling that Booty hadn't been tested enough up against the top flight competition. Was it Bobby or Barry? Maybe Barry was the son, and Bobby Bonds was the father, and Barry was the son, right? Or do I got it reversed? Man, all of a sudden I'm going blank. I need a performance enhancing mind memory. But anyway, he says hadn't been tested up against top competition, and being British, I probably am a little biased, but just a little. LOL. I think Bute isn't as good as when he's forced to fight backing up. He seemed to be searching for a safe distance to jab from, and didn't have the power to keep Carl off him. Body does it seems. Nobody does, it seems. Plus, he had no answer to Carl's feint and right-hand maneuver. Like I said, I think that Lucien Boutte tried to out-Froch Carl Froch. And again, what I meant by that is he was fighting with his hands down. He was picking and choosing his shots. He couldn't manhandle Carl Froch. Carl Froch wants to get in those kinds of fights. He had a great performance. I mean, we can't take anything away. And whether you're biased with him or not, you can't take anything away. The only negative thing that I saw in that fight with Carl Froch was he hit Boutte behind the head an awful lot of times, didn't he? But I don't think that made an impact one way or another. But then again, you never know. Haven't heard anything out of Camp Boutte about the melee that took place during the count. And then again, like I said on yesterday's show, the referee did show the wave-off signal. So, but anyway, thanks for all the emails that were loaded in the mailbag. If you're joining us late, you missed an announcement, a sad announcement about Paul Williams, who was paralyzed after a motorcycle accident. What makes this story even sadder was he was on his way to his brother's. He drove to his brother's house in the morning. And then he went to his other brother's house to get ready for his brother's wedding. And on his way to the changing brother's house, where he's going to change into his clothes, is when the accident happened. Apparently, he was driving his motorcycle, and he tried to. A car was kind of drifting into his lane, and he went around the car, went to the left of the car to pass the car that was putting him in danger. But what he didn't see was a car coming in that opposite direction. Now, whether he was passing him legally or not, or whether it was a highway, or whatever the case was, I don't know. But when he got out into that left lane, he saw another car coming head on, and to avoid that car, he veered off the road altogether and went crashing into an embankment that caused the injury that damaged his spine. His upper torso is intact. His lower torso, according to the doctors and the specialists that have seen him, he's going to be paralyzed for the rest of his life. He's going to undergo some surgeries. I don't know if it's today or tomorrow. I know it's It might. You know what? It is today. It's today's Tuesday, so it's today. I lost track because of the holiday. But he's going to undergo some surgeries today that's going to stabilize the upper part of his body so he can begin recovery, and then following the recovery will be his rehabilitation. So, again, you know, as far as I'm concerned, all of our thoughts and prayers should go out to Paul Williams for, you know, a recovery, and, you know, some special prayers that maybe he does buck all the odds, and miracles do happen, and maybe he can walk again. You know, you guys know, anyone that's listened to this show for a long time knows I'm a New York Jets fan, and there was a fighter there was a football player that his last name was Bird that got hurt. He was paralyzed in a football game, and you know, he vowed to walk again, and after a long battle, the man can walk again. He never got to play football again, but Mr. Bird is doing a lot better now. He can actually walk on his own with a cane. So hopefully Paul Williams will have the same, if not better, success. So I tell you, sad no. He had just signed to fight Saul Alvarez. Was very excited about that fight. Felt that that was going to get him back in the mix. So, yep, Paul Williams, confirming it. He did suffer a severe injury in a motorcycle accident. Yesterday we talked about Johnny Tapia's body being found. Yeah, geez, this is like Mr. Depression today. I'm the, good thing people aren't shooting the messenger today, right? But his wife, Teresa Tapia, released a statement on Johnny Tapia. I'd like to read it to you. The official statement of Teresa Tapia, which was released late yesterday afternoon, says, today our family grieves the loss of a husband, a friend, and a father. With Johnny, the world has not just lost a Hall of Fame fighter, but a special person, a fighter in life and in the ring. I am appreciative of all the support and condolences we've received, and I thank Johnny's many friends and fans for standing by him during this difficult time. I know many people are waiting for news, but as we await the results of the autopsy, I am not in a position to make any comment on what happened on Sunday. We will hold a public memorial service for Johnny to give everyone a chance to say goodbye. The holiday and autopsy are delaying our final plans. We will announce the particulars as soon as arrangements have been made. I know Johnny will be missed by everyone who's ever met him. He was a special light in this world. He loved people so much, made friends with everyone so easily, and kept those friends forever. He will remain in our hearts and will be missed by all of us very dearly. That was an official statement by Teresa Tapia. And, I just hope this. I hope, and I don't even know if it's possible by law or whatever the case is, but, I hope they don't drag him through the mire. We all know that he battled drug abuse and had his stints, legal issues and all of that stuff. And I'm not going to mention who, but I was just informed, yesterday, as a matter of fact, that as recently as a couple months ago, he was at an event and was in the bathroom. That he refused to leave the bathroom, and he was finally police had to remove him from the bathroom. Now you can only assume what the problem was. I don't know specifically what the problem was, but that's signs of a guy still battling something. I just hope that the authorities and the media let it lie, because it's bad enough we lose a guy like Johnny Tapia, but let's not stain it any worse. If people have to get a story out about it, you know what? Let's wait a little bit. Let's let the family grieve. Let's let the friends and boxing in general, move on and remember the good things about Johnny Tapia, all his accomplishments and all that happy stuff. and then we can go from there. At least that's my opinion. Gleason's is having another one of those amateur shows in June 23rd, and what I like about these is this is including the division that I'd like to get some reports on and some stories on is the seniors division, which I'm going to look into doing. And the bottom line is it's a division they call it white collar. It's like a white collar boxing, and it's designed and geared for people over 35, which is the Golden Gloves limit, and it's geared for people over 35 who want to train and participate and fight, in an organized thing like USA boxing, and that's exactly what's happened, and we're going to look into that a little more. So I will keep you posted on that. But if you want to attend that, it's June 23rd. You can check out our website, www.billycboxing.com, and click the Gleason's banner, which you can't miss. It's right on the right-hand side of the screen. Click that and get some information. Or you can call Gleason's direct, 718-797-2872. That's 718-797-2872. Tell them Billy C sent you and demand a Billy C discount. We had some, coverage of some fights. Check out our website, billycboxing.com. And also we have our very own Tony Treem just did a preview of the fight coming up in a couple of weeks, and that's of course Manny Pacquiao and Timothy Bradley. It's a big fight, and it's coming up real soon. And Tony did a short preview on it, and it's an interesting piece you should check out. It's up on billycboxing.com, so check that one out as soon as you can. Audley Harrison. That's fraudly embarrassing for you English fans, because that's what you guys like to call him. He not only won this past weekend, but he knocked out his opponent in pretty decent fashion. I finally got to see the real, a real version of it, not the one from the guy's phone, which, for that final round, that knockout, I got to watch the ceiling, It was almost like he got knocked out, but I got to see it, and it was impressive. He started out slow, Harrison did. But now he wants to fight either Tyson Fury or David Price. And, the thing is this, Audley Harrison has the skill, and he has the talent, and he certainly has the punching power. I just don't know if it's the time is on the side. This is a guy that's I think he's 40. I'm pretty sure if he's not 40, he's very close to it. I don't have his record in front of me, but I think he's 40. And what I'm impressed is he was saying, and I quote, "I know after the Hay fight, people didn't expect to see me anywhere near a ring again, but I really enjoyed myself Saturday night. The place was packed, and to have most of the crowd cheering and applauding my finish made me feel great. It took strength of character and belief in myself to not throw the towel in and call it a day." He's referring to after the Hay fight. "I proved to myself I still want to be a prize fighter. The explosive way I finished off Ali Adams would be a handful for any fight, any heavyweight, and I'm looking forward to building from this performance and getting myself back into the mix." He says, "I need a test. I need a test to see what I have left." And, before he said that, he said, hopefully, he's talking about an injury that he sustained, and they're going to be checking it out. It was in his shoulder. He says, hopefully it's just a strain and not a tear. A tear in his shoulder at this point could very well end his career because of the length of time it would take to heal. He says, Tyson Fury and David Price are both doing great. He says, beating who they have beaten in front of them and doing it in an exciting fashion. If they're not prepared to fight each other, the only other logical fight to be made is against me. He says, I need a test to see what I have left, and they need to test to see if they are ready to move on to bigger and better things. He says a crossroad fight with everything to fight for will capture the public's imagination. Win, lose, or draw, I'm leaving everything I have in the ring. What I like about that statement is that he's not pulling a David Haye. And what I mean by that, David Haye, decides that he wants to make a comeback, decides he wants to fight, decides whatever, he wants to, get a pedicure. The thing is this, he immediately says, I want the Klitschko's, I want a world title shot, I'm the best in the world, they're running from me, they're scared, they're this, they're that. And Audley Harrison says, no, I need to prove myself. I need to prove myself to get a shot. I'm not saying I want to go fight the top dog and make the most money, which, damn well he wants to do. But instead of that, he's saying, you know what? Hey, we got a couple of up-and-coming fighters. We got a couple of big guys that are trying to build up their name. They're trying to say that they're ready for a Klitschko or whatever. He says, why don't you fight me first? And that truly is a crossroads fight. The winner may get a shot at a Klitschko or something better. And what impresses me about this, and unlike most English boxing fans, I don't have the sting still, because I learned and started to follow him later, and I didn't suffer the embarrassment that many Englishmen tell me that they feel they suffered by supporting him. But I do know this: I think he's put it in perspective. I think he's targeting the right guys. And I think should he beat a Tyson Fury or a David Price, then I also think that maybe this is a guy that does deserve another crack at a major belt. And, it's just when you have these young fighters like the Tyson Furies and the David Prices, Audley Harrison is exactly what the doctor orders. They need to fight a guy like him. If he's coming to fight. Many people, including our very own Kieran O'Neill, feels that the Harrison-Haye fight was fixed. And Kieran went as far as to show me all his proof. Showed me all his proof, showed me video clips and where it appears that, Audley Harrison, okay, here it comes, right? Ready? And David Haye's like, okay, you getting ready? Here it comes. It's going to come right now. Ba-bam! And then down goes Harrison. And, when I watch those clips, I can see it. I can see it. Just like when my man Dave from Pugilistica.com, who incidentally is responsible for a lot of the prizes that we give away here on the show, he showed me. He sent me a video clip of when what's his name jumped through the ropes. Kermit Cintron, when he jumped through the ropes against Paul Williams, and up to that point, I thought he fell through. But when I saw that video, to me, it clearly looked like he dove through the rope. So I kind of give Harrison some credit here. Whether or not it's going to materialize and he gets a shot at David Price or Tyson Fury, that's yet to be seen. Hey, one other thing. Speaking of winners and prizes and stuff like that, yesterday our trivia winner was Brett Sherwood, my man Brett, and I didn't know which prize he had picked until after the show yesterday. Now, what was on the line was the Title Bout Championship computer game, which he felt that he's got a lot of games. And, he wanted a book instead, which I thought was a great idea. So I gave him some choices on books. And I just want to give my man Brett a shout-out because he chose an excellent book. It's actually my favorite Evander Holyfield book. It's called The Holyfield Way. And my man Brett is going to get that book. I'm going to ship it out to him today or tomorrow, Brett. So if it doesn't come in tomorrow's mail, it'll probably be in the next day's mail. But you will get that Holyfield book courtesy of prizefightingbooks.com. So congratulations to Brett for getting that tough question that hung around here for well over a week.
Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. now has official merchandise available on talkinboxing.com. T-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and mugs. And yes, even undergarments. Talkin' Boxing apparel is the perfect gift for the boxing fan in your life. Log on to www.talkinboxing.com. That's TALKINBOXING.com and place your order today.
Join us here for 2 hours as Billy and the gang do what they do best.
Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got to pull Rocky Marciano out their ass. Rocky Marciano was good, but compared to Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano ain't.
It's Joe Louis's ass.
Joe Louis was 75 years old when he fought.
Huh?
What? We're supposed to be talking boxing.
It's Talking Boxing with Billy C.
As Billy C sits here in the multi-million-dollar Talkin' Boxing Studios, sipping a fine wine before you're even out of bed, you should be thinking, damn, I wish I had a mustache like his. It's the Talkin' Boxing with Billy C show. He's Billy C, and you're not. Sucks to be you.
Now let's dig into our archives and hear a rare interview when Billy C first became the champion of boxing talk radio. Hello, Billy C. As the new champ, can we ask you a few questions?
Why, certainly.
Okay, your fans would like to know how you and your corner have successfully walloped the competition.
We're not ordinary people. We're morons.
Anything else?
I'm a victim of circumstance.
Did your success finally come when you made the show 5 days a week for 2 hours? What do you think?
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Now, please tell the listeners what you've learned from making it this far.
Certainly. If at first you don't succeed, keep on sucking till you do succeed.
Great words of wisdom, Billy C. Keep up the great work as the undisputed People's Champion with your show, Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. Any last words to anyone who's listening?
This is your fault, you bonehead.
And we're back. You are listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C show, and you're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. Don't forget, every night is Fight Night on Fight Now, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. If you don't have Fight Now on your sports channel lineup, then you need to call your local television provider, whether it's cable or satellite dish, and tell them that you want the Fight Now channel added to your sports channel lineup. It's that simple. Did I say that right? Anyway, check out their website for all the information, including what's going to be on tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, www.fightnow.com. Yeah. Hey, listen, this has been on the schedule for a long time, and I hadn't had a chance to do it, so it's right in front of me right now. Our feature fighter this week, and we're going to be changing some stuff around. I'm making an official announcement right now. We're changing some stuff around. We're going to have some new faces part of the show, and some new talent coming in, and all that stuff, and of course all the regular old time favorites are sticking around. We don't want anybody to leave. We just are looking to expand as our show expands. And this segment, the feature fighter, I'm hoping that someone else is going to take over, just like Tony Treem and I now are doing the heavyweight spotlight, and it's pretty much Tony's baseball on that one, and we've gotten some great response over that. So make sure you look forward to the next episode of the heavyweight spotlight as Tony and I continue discussing the heavyweight division, and we're kind of moving on with some stuff, and we got a request from a listener. He's very interactive with the show a lot, and his name is Alex T. And I think that I'm going to hold off on telling you, but he got into some stuff about the Ali and Sonny Liston thing and all of that. But I think that we're going to continue our conversation kind of where we left off the last time with that, and that's about where it was. So you got to tune in for our discussion on the heavyweight division, which is going to be coming up soon. So stay tuned for that. And as you know, you can always check out our website, www.billycboxing.com, and it's coming up this week is the section, and it tells you what's coming up this week. Our feature fighter, which I haven't had a chance to get to, but I'm finally going to right now, is Dwight Muhammad Qawi. And Dwight Muhammad was a guy that started his boxing career late. Now, when we talk about blast from the past fighters and everything else, we're always telling people, oh yeah, so and so turned pro at 15 or 17, or we hear all these stories and everything else. And nowadays, some fighters turn pro a little later, and everyone's always pointing it out. He started his career late, or whatever. Well, Dwight Muhammad, who bottom line, started his first professional fight was in 1978. Was when he got out of jail. When he got out of jail, he had been in trouble as a kid, and got sent to prison. Never fought in an amateurs. Took up boxing training and boxing in jail. And when he got out of jail at 25 years old in 1978, he turned pro immediately. And, the way this business is, when you turn pro in boxing, all of the sharks, which are the managers and everybody in the sport, the first thing they do is they want to take advantage of you, especially when they hear that you don't have an amateur background. So what do? They take this guy and they immediately think he's an opponent. They immediately think he's an opponent, and they put him in there pretty quickly. He was no different, because he started off his career as a professional on April 19th in 1978, and he fought Leonard Langley, and fought to a 6-round draw. Now, right off the bat, that shows me something. That says to me, man, a kid is fighting. He turns pro at 25. He's just out of the slammer. He turns pro, and what's his first fight, a 4-rounder? Nah, it's a 6-rounder. So that tells me one of two things. One of three things, actually. Number one, of course, he doesn't know anything about the pro boxing business, and he accepts a 6-round fight. Number two, he was doing it for the money. He was just doing it for the money, and you can make more money at a 6-round fight than you can for a 4-rounder. And the third reason is they just want to take advantage of him. He's in jail. He's a tough guy. Somebody probably convinced the commission to approve it. Very rarely does a pro debut fighter, especially one with no background in the amateurs, be permitted to fight his first professional fight as a 6-rounder. But he ends up fighting to a 6-round draw, and it got the attention of some people. So he gets put in with another 6-round fight immediately after that against Lou Benson Jr. And Lou Benson Jr. Loses via a 6-round decision. His third professional fight was against Johnny Davis in New York City, and he lost a controversial 6-round split decision. So here's a guy fresh out of prison, his first 3 professional fights with no amateur background, and he's got a win, a loss, and a draw. If you were going to ask the powers that be at that time, it all took place in 1978, if you were going to ask them where this guy was going to go with his professional boxing career after that fight, I think it would be hard to find someone that would say anything other than this guy's going nowheres, But he proved those people wrong, because he rattled off a bunch more wins all through 1979 and 1980, 1981. He fought 3-4 fights a year, adding some knockouts, starting to get better, improving every step of the way. One of his most memorable fights was one I happen to have seen, and it was against James Scott. Now, James Scott was a badass, and he was, I believe, he was serving life in prison in New Jersey in Rahway Prison, and they televised that fight, and it was a 10-round brawl between Dwight Muhammad Qawi and James Scott. They showed it right in the prison, and you could see the prisoners watching it, and it was pretty dramatic. I remember watching that in 1981, and it was a 10-round decision win for Dwight, which landed him, because James Scott had they showed several of his fights on television from from jail, and he was a guy that, many people regarded as a legitimate fighter, and they were giving him that chance because he kept winning. And after Dwight Muhammad beat him via that 10-round decision, he was immediately put in to get a world title shot, even though it was kind of early in his career. And, here he is at 28 years old, and who does he step in the ring with? None other than Matthew Saad Muhammad, who was a pretty tough character. And what does Dwight Muhammad do? No, he knocked him out in the 10th round. That's what he did to become the world light heavyweight champion. Now, he had a successful title defense, a 6-round knockout over Jerry Martin a year later. Well, several months later. It was in 1982, but it was only 3 months later, almost to the day. And then in August of that same year, he gave Matthew Saad Muhammad a rematch, and once again knocked out Matthew Saad Muhammad, this time in the 6th round. He had another successful fight with a title defense, I should say, with Eddie Davis, and that set him up for a unification fight with the other controlling, light heavyweight champion at the time, and that was Michael Spinks. Now, he fought Michael Spinks, and that fight went the distance. It was a 15-round decision, but unfortunately for Dwight Muhammad Qawi, he lost that fight via the decision. And after the fight, he was saying, "Oh, well, how are you supposed to fight a guy that just runs from you all night long?" And he said, and I quote, "He ran like a chicken." And Leon Spinks said to him, said in response to that, he says, "Hey, man, it doesn't pay to be a gutsy fighter in a fight like that against an opponent like him. You wind up with cuts everywhere. You wind up getting knocked down. You work harder than you really have to." And that was a true statement, because that's what Dwight Muhammad Qawi wanted you to do, man. Wanted to get you into a brawl, and Michael Spinks refused to do that. So now, as a former champion, he built himself back up with wins over Johnny Davis, Pacquiao, Stanley Ross, and Michael Greer to set up a title. Now, this time in the cruiserweight division, as he moves up and fought P.A. Crows, who he stopped in the 11th round to pick up the World Cruiserweight Division title by the WBA. Again, he followed that one up with a first-round blowout over Rick Enos. And then in 1986, he fought a guy that many people, I think, forget that even fought for a Cruiserweight World title, because the memory of Leon Spinks is that of beating and then losing to Muhammad Ali. Of course, winning the gold medal at the Olympics. But at that point in time, in 1986, Leon Spinks moved down to the Cruiserweight division and took on Dwight Muhammad Qawi in a pretty entertaining fight for a while it lasted. But Spinks was not the same Leon Spinks in 1986 as he was in the late 70s and 1980. And Dwight knocked him out in the 6th round, which set up again for a young fighter that was coming up, similar to when he fought Michael Spinks. Once again, Dwight Muhammad Qawi gets in there with another young gun. This time, that young gun's name, Evander Holyfield. Now, Evander Holyfield was a very young fighter, didn't have that many fights under his belt, and was already building himself up as kind of a media favorite. I got Murphy saying, good morning, good morning. I don't want to hear it from you, Murph. You were wrong before. I admitted I was wrong about Boutte. And all I could say is Carl Froch looked great, and Murphy was right on that one. But Evander Holyfield, many people believe he got a gift decision. It was a split decision, 15-round win for Evander Holyfield that ended up losing the WBA belt for Dwight Muhammad Qawi. Now, again, being a fighter, this is a guy that got back into the ring, tried to get back up on his horse, came back with a win against Narcisio Maldonado, fought Ozzy Casio and lost. Then followed that up with a win against Leroy Murphy, which set him up for a rematch with Evander Holyfield to try and get not only his WBA World Cruiserweight title back, but Evander had picked up the IBF Cruiserweight title in that year that those two guys had fought. This time, Evander Holyfield was much improved and knocked out Dwight in the fourth round. He stepped up to heavyweight division after that and fought George Foreman and was blown out in 7 rounds there in 1988. Now, this was the George Foreman comeback. And Dwight, fought several other times. He went back down to the cruiserweight division, won a continental cruiserweight title, and worked himself into another world title shot in 1989 in the cruiserweight division against Robert Daniels. And this time the WBA cruiserweight title had been vacated when Evander Holyfield moved up to heavyweight division. And again, Dwight Muhammad Qawi loses a very close fight, this time a 12-round split decision to Robert Daniels. This was in 1989, November of 1989. He continued his boxing career 1990, 91, 92, and he took several years off after he lost a 10-round decision against Nate Miller on October 13th in 1992. 5 years later, he tried to make an ill-advised comeback. He stepped in the ring in May of 1997 and won a 6-round decision over Earl Clark. He followed that up with a second-round knockout over Tyrone Demby, which was about less than a month later. It was June 27th of, a little more than a month later, on June 27th of 1997, which set him up for another fight with a guy, Tony La Russa, and he lost an 8-round decision in 1998, and that's when Dwight Muhammad Qawi finally hung him up. Now, many people regard him as one of the best light heavyweights in the world. He also was a cruiserweight title holder. He's obviously former world light heavyweight and cruiserweight champion. He was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 2004. One note, that fight against Tony La Russa, he was 45 years old. He finished his career with a 41 win with 25 coming by knockouts, 11 losses, only stopped 2 times. And that was late in his career. Of course, it was against George Foreman and Evander Holyfield, back-to-back knockout losses. And he did have one draw. He was only 5'5.5", which is amazing to me, considering the 3 divisions he fought in. And, light heavyweight, cruiserweight, and heavyweight, 5'5.5". Amazing. He had kind of a long reach for a small guy, 71 inches. He fought 380 rounds as a professional. And like I said, he was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 2004. Dwight Muhammad Qawi, our feature fighter. If you need to know more about him, drop us an email, billy@talkinboxing.com. That's TALKINBOXING.com. Dave Murphy's in the chat room saying it's deserted in here today. Yeah, it was pretty going. It was going pretty well in there a few minutes ago. And we had Tony, my man Tony, I don't know what he's doing up from Las Vegas. He was in there. And my man Mac from the Philippines, he was in there. So I think people are all recovering from the Memorial Day cheeseburgers, hot dogs, and beers, But anyway, earlier I was talking about the English boxing scene and how impressed I was with Audley Harrison and the way he not impressed with the way he was fighting. He did have an impressive knockout over Ali Adams, but what I was impressed about was the fact that he is accepting his role right now as kind of a fighter that's got to prove himself once more, and he wants to take on David Price or Tyson Fury, and which I think would be a good move for all involved. But there's some other news coming out of England now. Ricky Hatton in Hatton Promotions, he's slowly moving up. I think he is, and he's got a really good fight card coming up. It's called the Road to Glory, and apparently it's going to be taking place at the Manchester Velodrome or Velodrome, however you want to pronounce it, June 16th. And they have, it can seat 4,000, over 4,000 people, 4,300, I guess. And as of yesterday, mostly all of the seats have been sold. All the VIP seating, all the ringside seating, the fight, the seats that are available in all the other price ranges have all been going very well. And he's saying, Ricky Hatton, who's the CEO of Hatton Promotions, he's also training for the company. He says the response from the fans all over our country has been fantastic. The fighters have all done a great job shifting their allocation, and responses from one media on a national and regional level has been great. There's still more than 2 weeks to go, and I'm confident that we will sell out on June 16th. Well, it looks like they're well on their way. It is a hot ticket in England, so congratulations to Ricky Hatton. But he's got some other stuff now, including that fight. The card. The main event is going to be a vacant European light. The main event of that. I know that. The main event is a title fight between Ryan Rhodes and Sergey Rebanchenko. Richard Towers is taking on Gregory Toney now, and that's for the vacant European Union's heavyweight title. And then the co-main event is Martin Murray taking on Kareem Anchor. It's a pretty decent card. It's a bumper bill, so there's a lot of fights on that card. Those are the main ones. It also has the vacant WBA interim super bantamweight title between Scott Quigg and Rendell Monroe, which is another good one. Just every time you read a fight. Now, Richard Towers was supposed to fight Michael Wallace, but Wallace had to pull out, and now Richard Towers is, like I just mentioned, fighting Gregory Toney. And there is another fighter, a young fighter, on there. He's not from England, but Zaranat Zakiyanov is trying to get in on the European Bantamweight title, and they call him the Kazakh Kid, and he's ranked number 1 by the European Boxing Union, and expects to become a mandatory challenger after the fight between Lee Haskins and Stefan Yamore. He's 24 years old. He's 18 wins in 19 fights, and he just at this past weekend he just knocked out Timur Shazalov in the third round. It was his 11th fight that ended inside the scheduled roundage. So they're looking forward to some good things from the Kazakh Kid. So a lot of happenings going on with Ricky Hatton. And, I'm happy for Ricky Hatton. There's only one Ricky Hatton. And, I'm glad that his promotional company is doing well. And to me, that shows that maybe Ricky Hatton, there was a lot of knocks on Ricky Hatton that he, wasted some money. And, we all know that he was with some, she was pretty. She was pretty. Some, blonde that he was hanging around with, not his girlfriend. And, he was doing some drugs and everything. It was all in the media, and he admitted that he had a substance abuse problem, some alcoholism, all that stuff. And, many people are thinking, he's pissing away his money. He made so much money in his career. He's losing it. He's losing it. And now all of a sudden it seems like maybe, just maybe, he's been able to battle those demons. And it looks like he's actively taken more of a role in Hatton Promotions. Now, if you recall, at one point in time, he wasn't really doing anything aside from his name. Now he's the CEO, the acting CEO. He's also a trainer for the promotional company. So I think he's come a long way. And I, for one, have always admired Ricky Hatton. I thought that he was a class act. Inside the ring, very exciting fighter. Inside the ring, there's no question about that. And I just feel that we're on the way up with him. But anyway, Sharif Bogheri is going to be fighting this weekend. As a matter of fact, he's going to be taking on Manuel Lavilla, in a 10-round fight that's going to be taking place in Carson, California this weekend at the Home Depot Center. Now, he was supposed to fight on that June 23rd card between Victor Ortiz and Josito Lopez, but they decided that they wanted him to. I say we. I don't know why I said that, but they decided that instead of having him on the undercard for Ortiz Lopez, that he would fight here instead, and he's going to be taking place he's going to be fighting La Vella this weekend on Saturday. Now he was going to. They're also talking about him possibly fighting again as soon as June 30th, and on a card that they're going to be doing in Fantasy Springs, California. So we'll see what happens with that. The only thing I'd say about Bogery is he has a tendency to charge in. He's kind of short, and you never know. He may sustain a cut or whatever, but we'll see what happens. Levea is not an easy opponent. He's got a record of 21 wins, 6 losses, 12 coming by knockout. In his last 6 fights, he's lost 5. The truth of the matter is he's on a losing streak. He was knocked out by Danny Williams, and we'll see how he does against Sharif Bogery, who's undefeated at 22 wins, no losses, and 14 of his wins coming by knockout. He's an exciting fighter. In case you know the name and forget the guy, he's the one that comes out, being carried out by some guys dressed like Egyptians. He wears a full lion headdress, setup, whatever you want to call it, and that's how he comes out to fight. So anyway, hey, don't forget about Gleason's boxing fantasy camp. This year it's scheduled for August 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th, and we want to make you a star. That's right. If you sign up for the Gleason's boxing fantasy camp, do me a favor, email me personally, Billy@TalkinBoxing, that's TalkinBoxing.com, and let me know after you sign up for this, because we want to put all the names in a hat and draw somebody out that we want to follow around through your experience with the boxing fantasy camp at Gleason's, which is going to be taking place at a resort, actually, up in the Catskills, or just below the Catskills in Ellenville, New York. So if you're thinking about going through the fantasy camp, which will take you through what it's like to be a professional boxer through training and diet, nutrition, blah, 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 and culminates into a performance against a fellow fantasy camp attendee. So this has been going on for 10 years with Gleason's, and it's a very successful program. So check it out. Visit their website by going to our website, www.billycboxing.com, and click the Gleason's Gym banner, which is on the right-hand side of the screen. You can't miss it. Or you can call them directly, 718-797-2872. That's 718-797-2872. Tell them that Billy C sent you, and you want to sign up for the boxing fantasy camp, and demand a Billy C discount, will you?
The 2012 Summer Olympic Games unfold in 5 months in London. The honor and the history of playing host goes back a long way. How long? That's next on Sports Shorts with me, the Sports Princess.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Stouffer's, helping bring your family together with wholesome dinner options, even on the busiest of nights. Find dinner table ideas to bring your family together at letsfixdinner.com. To get kids involved in dinnertime conversation, ask specific questions, not broad ones. Instead of what happened today at school, try what was the best thing that happened today. The more specific you are, the more they'll have to say. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Legend has it that the Olympics go back to Hercules, but let's leave Greek mythology out of it. The modern games opened in 1896. Since Athens couldn't afford to put them on, a businessman ponied up the coin. Pole vaulting, weightlifting, shot put, and swimming, few of the handful of events. Since those days, some of the original sports remain. Others come and go, depending on the whims of the International Olympic Committee. Australia, France, Germany, and China have hosted summer games, and this will be the 3rd time for London. As for the winter games, the U.S. has hosted them 4 times since they started in 1924 in France, featuring sports like alpine cross-country skiing, figure skating, and such. Between the summer and the winter games, there are hundreds of sports and thousands of athletes. You never know what city is going to get a crack at hosting next. I'm the Sports Princess with Sports Shorts.
Talking Boxing with Billy C. Every week, 2 hours of the best boxing talk on the radio.
Mike Tyson looked like he put on some pounds. He was fat. He went into McDonald's and he just said to them, hey, give me 6 of everything on the menu. He put on 2 watches and covered 2 time zones. I'm talking fat here. Got on a scale the other day and it said, come on, one of you guys got to get off. Last thing I heard is that he jumped into the ocean and he left a ring around the continent. He's fat.
Boxing with Billy C.
Now back to Talking Boxing with Billy C. He may not have an Excellence in Broadcasting award, but the night's still young.
And he's got martinis.
So you never know what may be by morning. It's Talking Boxing with Billy C.
Talking Boxing with Billy C.
The one, the only, Don King.
Makes me feel good, Billy, to have you, the #1 show in the country, Talking Boxing with Billy. So I invite each and every American that's listening to this great show to tune in, because we want you to be there with Billy and me.
St. Jimmy's coming down across the alleyway, up on the boulevard like a zip gun on parade. Lights up the silhouette, he's disappointed at coming at you on the count of 1.
And we're back. You are listening to Green Day. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C., a radio show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. And if you want to watch the Talking Boxing with Billy C. show on your television set, on the big screen that you got, that flat, high-def TV, imagine seeing all my fading hair and gray hairs and all that stuff, or receding hair, I should say. But if you want to see that on your television set, then you need to call your local television provider and tell them that you want to add the Fight Now channel to your sports channel lineup. It's that simple. All you got to do is do that. Get them to add Fight Now to your sports channel lineup, and you'll be all set. Fight Now shows a new fight every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern, plus expanded coverage of all the big fights, including a post-fight show coming up after the Manny Pacquiao and Timothy Bradley big fight, which is scheduled June 9th. I just realized that, I had made plans to go to the Hall of Fame and stuff, and now I'm getting second thoughts because there's no way that I'm going to want to go all the way up there and then race all the way back and all that happy stuff for the post-fight show. So we will. I'm going to see how it's going to happen, how I'm going to make it all work. But anyhow, that's what's going on. Hey, I want to do a quick boxing schedule roundup here that of all the stuff we got going on over the next few weeks. I actually have the current schedule. If you hear something that's been canceled or something that's been updated or maybe even a fight that I've missed, let me know, and I'll be glad to add it. This is something that we do on a regular basis. And then I'll tell you what we got coming up this week on the show, and also what's going to be going on. Now, we do have my man Andre. He is working on the Billy C. Challenge program that's being rewritten because we were bailed out. Simon Barcinista bailed out on us. With no explanation other than, I don't know, maybe he lost interest. That's something that bothers me. When people lose interest and they're not professional enough to just, at least let us know. All the people that were involved and took the time. And let me just, precede that by don't for a minute think that, it didn't take a lot of time and effort on Simon Barcinista's part to do everything he did with the challenge, but apparently it just got overwhelming for him. And in the meantime, I wasn't even going to do it anymore. But thanks to Andre, he wants to do it, and we'll see what happens. But anyway, June 8th, we got Kelly Pavlik against Scott Sigma. A lot of people aren't chomping at the bit for this fight, that's for sure. But in any event, I have this strange feeling. I've said it. I don't know what Murphy thinks. He's in the chat room right now. But I think that Kelly Pavlik and Jermaine Taylor are going to fight again. And if Kelly gets by Scott Sigmund, which I'm sure he will, no disrespect to Scott Sigmund, but if Kelly gets by him, I have a feeling that those two are going to fight again. But that's taking place on June 8th. June 8th also in Montreal. We have Elder the Storm Alvarez, who's a young fighter, 8-0, is going to be putting his NABO light heavyweight title on the line against Sean the Warrior Hawk. Now, I've seen Sean Hawk fight. This is actually, despite Sean Hawk's 23-1 record with 19 knockouts. When I tell you that Alvarez at 8-0 and 5 knockouts, and Hawk at 23-1 is an even fight. Trust me, it's an even fight. That's taking place on June 8th. Manny Pacquiao, Timothy Bradley, June 9th. We all know that one's coming. Also on June 9th, the Arroyo twins are going to be back. That's Mick Joe and Mick Williams and Mr. McCheese also. They're three brothers, they're all going to be fighting on June 9th. That's going to be taking place on Telefutura, actually. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. June 16th, you got Carlos Molina, who's going to be taking on Marcos Leonardo Dominguez, and that's taking place in Texas. Back to June 14th, Broadway Boxing returns, this time at the Roseland Ballroom. Beep, beep, hey, Porky. Shawnee Monahan and Thomas Delorme in 2 separate bouts. Shawnee Monahan is one of these fighters that is going to end up getting destroyed because he hasn't fought anybody, and his team is scared to death to fight anyone. At 13-0 with 8 knockouts, this is a kid that is going nowhere unless he starts progressively stepping up his level of opposition. Thomas Delorme, on the other hand, I think is the real deal. I think he's a legitimate prospect / contender, wherever you got him. 14-0, so they'll be on this card in separate bouts. June 16th, Rodney Berman, the guy that does all the shows in South Africa at Empton's Palace, which is near Kempton Park. His bumper bill, he loves these bumper bills, man. Bumper bill's got a bunch of fights on it. June 16th, this is going to be a bunch of good fighters are going to be going on that card, so check that one out on June 16th. It's called the Last Man Standing Super 8, so we'll see what happens there. Those things always change at the last minute, so keep your eyes open for that. June 16th, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and Andy Lee. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. has gotten way better than I think a lot of people give him credit for, and I believe that that this kid has gotten to the point where I think that he's gotten to the point where he deserves the respect that at least that I'm giving him right now, because people are too quick to say, he's overrated, he's this, he's that, but anyway, that's June 14th. So what did I mess up the dates here? Yeah, I got them out of order. I'm out of order. You're out of order. But anyway, Julio Cesar Chavez is the 16th. No, I was talking about the Broadway Boxing was the 14th. June 16th is Julio Cesar Chavez and Andy Lee. Andy Lee, overrated. Yep, overrated. At least that's my opinion anyway. But we'll have to wait and see. Tomaz Adamek is also fighting on June 16th on the NBC Sports Network. He's taking on Eddie Chambers. Now, I personally think that Eddie Chambers is a shell of himself since being knocked out at the hands of Mr. Klitschko. Him backing out of the fight against Lukajevich was an indication of that, in my opinion. But hey, he's looking for a payday, and he's probably going to get it against Tomaz Adamek. We'll see what this. Tomaz Adamek, said, and I quote, for me, the most important part of this fight is the question of how the fight will look in the eyes of the fans of boxing. Everybody who knows my career since I got my first fight at light heavyweight knows that I have always delivered an entertaining bout. Kevin and Eddie, he's talking about Kevin Johnson because he was also mentioned to fight him, but Eddie was the one that obviously got him. But he says Kevin and Eddie are both good fighters, but Chambers wants to mix it up a little bit more. He prefers a more open style, and Johnson is more defensively oriented. That's just my opinion. And one more fact, I never said no to any opponent, although I know that styles make fights, and sometimes you just can't look good even when you're winning the fight. Bottom line is he preferred to take a fighter that wanted to actually engage with him for the benefit of the fans. That's the way I take that statement anyway. June 16th, we got the fight I've been talking about, the Road to Glory, and the main event, Ryan Rhodes against Sergey Rabchenko, and we'll see what that happens. Rabchenko is 20-0, and Rhodes is 46-5. So keep your eyes open for that one. On the same card, we got Martin Murray taking on Kareem Anchar. I also mentioned a lot of the other fights on that one as well. Mason Menard makes a defense of his world UBO title against Lightning Lonnie Smith. And I got news from Mason Menard. Better watch out for Lightning Lonnie, because Lightning Lonnie has been in there with way tougher opposition than Menard has. On June 20th in Russia, Kendall Holt, who was just announced actually yesterday, I think I announced it, is taking on Khahib Kurderviev in Russia. Also, June 20th, we got a unification fight in the 105-pound division. Kazuto Ioka is taking on Akira Yagagashi in that one, which is taking place in Japan. On June 20th, we also have a prize fighter with the heavyweights. Now, this one actually, we'll see what happens with this one, because so far, according to the powers that be, this tournament is going to feature Kevin Johnson, Albert Cisnowski, Callie Meehan, and Tom Dallas so far. And you know, we got former world title challengers were all those guys except for Tom Dallas. So we'll see what happens. I'm not so sure. You know, Kingpin Johnson is looking for an easy way to keep getting wins, and I can't get by his performance against Klitschko. I just can't. June 22nd, Javier Castro against Mike Dallas Jr. We talked about this one yesterday. Good fight there. I like Dallas, but I like his manager better. She's one of the best people in the sport. Of course, I'm talking about Jackie Callan. June 23rd, Rico Ramos is going to be taking on Efren Escowivis. He was supposed to take on a different opponent, but that was changed. And so now he's taking on Escowivis on June 23rd. Also on June 23rd, big fight for Josito Lopez. He's getting a I guess it's a vacant silver belt championship against Victor Ortiz. We all know that Andre Berto tested positive for PEDs, not to be confused with SEDs, or STDs. I'm sorry. Anyway, no pun intended. But Humberto Soto, Lucas Matisse. That's right. I always say Matisse, but my man John from LDL said, no, it's Matisse, damn it. Stop saying it Matisse. It looks like Matisse, but it's pronounced Matisse, even though it's Mathysse. Humberto Soto and Matisse is the co-main on that one. June 23rd. Man, I really like that fight because I like both of them. I like Ortiz and Josito Lopez, but anyway, June 28th, Sherman Tank Williams is going to be taking on Chauncey Welliver. That fight's going to be taking place in the land down under. I just want to know how Sherman Tank Williams is actually going to be able to fight for the WBO and Asian Pacific and the WBC Asian Boxing Council championship. But then again, how does Chauncey Welliver have it? So I don't know. Roy Jones Jr. was announced. It was announced that he's going to be fighting Dwight Kostecki. It's going to be taking place in Poland, June 30th. Roy Jones Jr., shell of himself, 55 wins, 8 losses, 40 coming by knockout. And he's going up against Kostecki, damn it, who's 39-1 with 25 KOs. Marvelous Marvin Sansona, guy that I got to see ringside several times. He's making a comeback of sorts. When he's a former super flyweight champion, he lost he was a flyweight champion and lost his bid for junior bantamweight title against Vasquez. But Sansona's 16 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. He's got 13 of his W's coming by knockout. He's taking on Orlando Cruz, who's 18 wins, 2 losses, and a draw. It's going to be taking place on July 6th in Las Vegas. On July 6th, we also got to see, we will get to see, Maurice Freight Train Bryan. Now, this is a guy that we saw take on that other kid. What's his name? Oh gosh, I can't think of his name. The other heavyweight that. Come on, Murph, help me out here. The other heavyweight that fought Jenkins. There we go, Jenkins. He's lost to Jenkins, but heavyweight Maurice Freight Train Bryan is now going to be taking on an undefeated and a guy that a lot of people. It's Jennings, I think. Bryant Jennings is what his name is. I said Jenkins. I'm sorry, but Magomed Abdulzamov is an undefeated fighter. A lot of people talk about this guy as being the next great fighter that in the heavyweight division, and we'll see what happens with him. He's 14-0, so we'll see what happens with this fight. Another big test for the Freight Train. He needs to throw more punches than he did in the Jennings fight, that's for sure. But anyway, on July 7th, we got a matchup between two middleweights that like to really throw some punches. And what I like about this fight, and when it was first announced, I gave both of these fighters kudos for fighting each other, because they certainly didn't have to. They could have, went off with a weaker opponent. But Patrick Majewski is 18-1. He's taking on Chris Fitzpatrick, who's 15-1 with a draw. And that's the main event's taking place at Bally's in Atlantic City. But anyway, that's July 7th. Antonio DeMarco is going to be going to be fighting in his next fight, July 7th. Now, originally this fight was supposed to be with Linares, right? But he's not going to be the guy that's in that fight, and instead, July 7th, he's going to be fighting. We just talked about it yesterday. Well, you know what? I know that this DeMarco is not correct. He's not fighting. He's not fighting Linares. So we'll have to see what goes on with that one. I'm trying to think who. I'll get it. I'll get to it. It's probably down on the list here. But Vladimir Klitschko is taking on Tony Thompson. That's taking place July 7th. Also July 7th, Kell Brook against Carson Jones. Carson Jones is going to be a good test for Kell Brook, I think. Nonito Donaire and Jeffrey Mathabula. That's also July 7th. We got to keep an eye on Donaire. I don't know what I think of him at this point. We got Jonathan Barrios, Jorge Barrios, 50 wins, 4 losses, and a draw. He's going to be getting back into the ring on July 13th. He's coming back from going through a court case. Now, apparently, he's been sentenced to 4 years in prison. He's from Argentina. But according to his team, the process has not been completed. So instead, he's going to be fighting on July 13th. In case you forget, he was charged for causing the death of a 20-year-old woman who was pregnant when he hit and ran with a vehicle. So, Glenn Johnson, the Road Warrior, is taking on the Polish Prince. That's Andrzej, the Polish Prince Fonfara, who's 21-2. He's ranked in the top 10 by some of the organizations, and that's going to be on Friday Night Fights. Come on, we all love seeing Glenn Johnson. There's no question about that. David Haymaker Hay, Derek Chisora. This fight is still scheduled to come on. Upton Park, July 14th. Povetkian and Rockman was supposed to be on that card, but they pulled out. So that's not happening. But it's July 14th, and we know that that fight is on. Now, I've had rumor that Thomas Newman is going to be back covering fights for us, but haven't heard anything since. He said, yeah, so we'll have to wait and see. July 14th, Amir Khan, Danny Garcia. It's going to be a good one. I like that one. It's a good test. July 16th, we also got a couple of world titles going on in Japan. Takashi Yukamaya, 18-0, is taking on Filipino southpaw Miguel Farinas, who's 34-3-3. And then also in the flyweight division, Sonny Boy Yaro is going to be taking on ex-Japanese Olympian Toshiyuki Agayarashi, who's 15-1-1. Robert the Ghost Guerrero against Mini Tyson Aiden. That's Selkirk, July 28th in San Jose, California. August 14th is the new date. It's been postponed twice already. Christy Martin against Mia St. John. We'll see what happens there. Before that, though, July 28th, Corey Spinks is getting his shot at his old title against Cornelius Bundridge. And Antonio DeMarco, that's right, he was rescheduled. He was originally scheduled to fight July 7th, but now he's fighting August 20th. I knew I had it in here. And this time he's going to be taking on Alejandro Sanabria, who's got a record of 32 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw. September 15th, Saul Alvarez was going to fight Paul Williams. But we all heard the tragic news about Paul Williams, so we'll see what happens with that fight, whether they keep the date and find another opponent for Saul Alvarez, whether they cancel the date. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I think Paul Williams deserves some kind of respectful move and maybe, get Saul Alvarez in a different fight, but maybe reschedule that fight. I don't know, man. If I was in charge of that, which I'm not, but if I was, I think that's what I would push for. As far as this weekend, we got a couple of decent fights going on. You got Gabriel Rosado against Shu Pal. It's on that NBC Sports Network. The other network, which I get, but it's not called WAPA, but that's me anyway. I get it. But Orson had Vasquez against Rafael Gonzalez in the junior welterweight division. Showtime has got a bunch of fights going on, and leading the pack is Antonio Tarver against Latif Coyote. Fox Sports is putting on Bibat Shumanov against Enrique Ornelas, and Telefuturas got Andrew Cancio against Joaquin Juarez on those. So we got those on the Showtime fight with Austin with Antonio Tarver and Latif Coyote. You got Winky Wright against Peter Quillen, Austin Trout against he's taking on my man Edwin Rodriguez, and Leo Santa Cruz is on that fight as well. So he's going to be seeing what happens there with those fights. We're going to be seeing what happens. Michael Oliveira is taking on Acilio Freitas. That's right, that Acilio Freitas. But it's going to be in the junior middleweight division. That's taking place on June 2nd this weekend. We already mentioned about the Bibat Shumanov fight. Mads Larson is scheduled to fight this weekend as well. He's got a record of 51-3 with 38 knockouts. And he's going to be taking on Lorenzo Di Giacomo, who's 41-6-1 in his home country of Denmark. And Sanchez, who was, this was a guy, Joel Diaz, was supposed to take on Sanchez, but Emmanuel Lucero has stepped in. It's going to be one of the fights for the Battle of the Boat 87. 87, that's June 2nd. June 1st, Sergey Kolayevov against Darnell Boone. That's going to be on the undercard of the of the Gabriel Rosado and Shu Pal fight. So we got some decent fights coming up this week. We got huge fights coming up next week. And next week, of course, is the International Boxing Hall of Fame, which I was going to go to, but now I am not so sure. I got to make a decision today because I've already kind of committed to a table there with my man Clay Moyle, who's does the prize fighting books, and I'm looking forward to spending some time with him. And just all I was going to do at the table was try to promote the show a little bit. But it's important that we do the post-fight show here on Fight Now, and I'm going to have to be back for that and watch the fight and all that happy stuff. So that's what's in the works right now. So we'll see what happens with that, and we'll go from there. Hey, just a reminder, we got the boxing camp, fantasy boxing camp going on August 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th. Get a hold of Gleason's Gym for all the information, 718-797-2872, or you can visit their website. They have brochures and all the information about that at the website. You can visit by going to BillyCBoxing.com and clicking the Gleason's Gym banner. I want to remind everybody, tomorrow, my man Alex Papali will be with us, and we're going to be doing the Blast from the Past, which features Boxing Hall of Famer, longtime heavyweight contender, but never got a shot at a world heavyweight title because of the color of his skin. Peter Jackson is who we're going to be talking about. So we're both excited about talking about him, and we'll have to wait and see what Alex has in store for us with that. A couple of new things. Check out the rankings, the Billy C. Boxing rankings. They're updated. They're up on the site, so check that out. Again, you guys, if you're interested in the premium podcast subscriptions, what they do is give you access to all of our stuff, and past as well, and you get to listen or watch the show whenever you want. So that's the reason for signing up for that, or just keep doing what you're doing. But speaking of that,
wake up. It's time for the
It's Too Early for a Trivia Question.
Today's It's Too Early for a Trivia Question is being sponsored by Fresquez Promotions and the Mathis Home Numero Dos fight. Numero Dos fight, not Deuce. Dos. No. It's Holly Holm against Anne-Sophie Mathis, the second fight, all right? And that's what today's trivia question is being sponsored by. Check it out. If you haven't gotten tickets yet, you can get tickets by visiting our website, www.billycboxing.com, and click the Reckoning, because that's what the name of the card is called. They got the Reckoning poster right up there. Dax Khan and myself did a preview of this fight, which is available up on YouTube, or it's still up on BillyCBoxing.com. If you page down a little bit, you'll see the most recent article about the event. And at the end of it, we have a link to the review that Dax and I did. So check that one out. This is going to be taking place live on June 15th at the Route 66 Casino Hotel in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Now, I'm going to be calling the action ringside. I had the luxury of calling the action ringside for the first fight, and I'm going to be able to be back there calling the second fight. So I'm excited about that. If you plan on coming out there, please drop me an email, because I want to meet you, and I want to have a Billy C. Boxing get-together if we can get enough people. Right now, I haven't heard from anyone that's making the trip. The only people that have contacted us are people that are out in New Mexico. You know, this is a worthwhile one, man. This is a worthwhile trip for you. So make your plans today. Just drop me an email and let me know if you're going to be there. So today's It's Too Early for a Trivia Question. What's on the line is the Title Bout Championship computer game. It's worth $40 if you want to find out some information about the game. Visit our website. They have a banner on the left-hand side. Just click it, and it'll take you right to the information on that. The question is, who fought in the most fights? It's another one of these, right? Who fought in the most fights from 1950 through 1959? Who fought in the most fights from 1950 through 1959? If you know the answer, email me, Billy at Talkin' Boxing. That's TALKIN BOXING.com. What's on the line? Title Bout Championship computer game, courtesy of the Title Bout Championship computer game company. Who fought the most fights from 1950 to 1959? Email me, billy@talkingboxing.com. Good luck to everybody on that.
This day in boxing history.
And finally, this day in boxing history is being brought to us by Campanaro and Tomkovich. If you're looking for a lawyer, use the ones that keep my ass out of trouble. That's Campanaro and Tomkovich. Let Campanaro and Tomkovich knock out your legal problem. Give them a call today, 845-221-4099. That's 845-221-4099. Campanaro and Tomkovich. Tell them Billy C sent you, and tell them I'll pick up the consultation fee. That's 845-221-4099. On this day, May 29th, 1933. Now, if you remember yesterday's This Day in Boxing History, this has kind of got a little connection to it, because on this day, May 29th in 1933, Jimmy McLarnin knocks out, my scribble here, knocks out young Corbett number 3 in the very first round to win the world welterweight title, and that took place on this day, May 29th in 1933, in Los Angeles, California. Hey, man, that concludes our show for today. There is one more thing I gots to tell you. Make sure you tune in tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. There's only one channel. It's the Fight Now channel. Call your local television provider right now. Tell them you want the Fight Now channel, AFC Sports channel lineup. Don't forget, every night is Fight Night on Fight Now, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Check out their website for all the information, www.fightnow.com. See you all tomorrow. Ciao, baby.